inside the chimney and under the bed. When I find St. Nick, it's off with his head!
Don't mind us!
Coming through!
First of all, I just have to say this film was so adorable. I loved it so much.
Thank you. I like
it had me thinking, actually, do you have in your writer that like every 10 years you get to gift us with a musical performance? Because Phantom of the Opera was 2004. How to Train Your Dragon was 2014.
Oh, yeah.
Now Before Christmas in Wonderland is 2024. So what's the plan for 2034?
Yeah. Oh, 2034. That's I got to get there first. But 2034, what could that be? I don't know. But you're right. It's not. It was actually a limitation, more like a restriction. I've been told you are not allowed to release any kind of singing once every 10 years so people can get over the last time.
Oh, that's not true.
Yeah, I'm chomping at the bit. I'm like, when's that 10 years up? I want to sing again. Everybody else is like, no, you still got a couple of years. Just wait. Just be patient.
Well, I'm glad you have. Something that I think about every time Christmas movies come out, holiday movies, it makes me think about the movies that were like really foundational to me as a child around the holiday seasons. And I'm curious for you, like, are there any holiday movies that still kind of evoke that childlike nostalgia when you catch them on television somewhere?
Yeah, well, I don't catch them now because I'm definitely a little older. So my child Christmas movies were The Wizard of Oz, which I guess is now coming out as Wicked. But The Wizard of Oz it wasn't just my child movie. I feel like in Scotland, that's the movie we saw every year. And that's what I associated with Christmas, which is weird because now I think about it, it's not a particularly Christmas movie, but that was my Christmas movie. And then there was other ones along the way. It's a Wonderful Life, Miracle on 34th Street, those kind of movies. But recently I haven't had a movie that I associate with Christmas. And maybe that's part of the reason I was like, well, this is definitely a Christmas movie, but it's definitely not a down the line, on the nose, Christmas movie. It's, this mishmash of these two fairy tales together. Santa Claus down the rabbit hole hanging out with the Mad Hatter and March Hare. And yet, you really get a sense of both fairy tales. You get a sense of all those characters in a way that reminds you of almost how you would have imagined it as kids, except it's funky and weird with all these modern references and surprises, GPS, oat lattes, just this stuff.
I know. I love that Santa and I have the same coffee order.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and the reindeers together are hilarious. They're taking sweepstakes because, Santa's always messing up. What's he going to do wrong this Christmas? You're going to crash? You're going to go the wrong way? Going to get the day wrong? And he does get it wrong as well. All those relationships, those dynamics between him and his reindeers, the fact that he walks around like, yeah, look at me. This is amazing. And they're like, get out of the way. Get out of the way. We're trying to do our job. He's just so irrepressible in his zest for life, and he loves doing what he does. And weirdly, that's kind of humorous, but it comes to be the thing that is the message of the movie, is that he sticks at that. No matter how square you want to call him, no matter how much he knocks people the wrong way, he's always going to try to do his best and be good and stick it out. And that lesson will come through. And that's powerful in the end.
Yeah, it was definitely an emotion that kind of came through in the film when I was watching it, and looking at the performances that you've done and the two kind of animated projects you've worked on. There's a difference between the two performances. And I'm curious for you, like, what have you learned from working in animation more about your voice and what it is capable of doing?
I definitely in this time felt I used much more of my physicality for Santa because I knew there was a lot more that I could get at opposite ends of the continent with his voice. Like, I just felt my voice is a tool. You're not seeing what I'm doing. So even when I was singing, I'm doing little dances and moves and trying to get out. You imagine a sound comes out from here, from there, from the back of your head. I wanted him having all these different sounds that Santa would make to express, the multitude of things going on in that movie. So yeah, I felt like I had a lot more fun, used my physicality a lot more, and just because I always feel I'm very critical of myself, but I do whenever I watch the movie, I'm often like, oh, I could have gone more there. I could have tried a little more there. So here I felt I had more fun because he is more goofy and he still is bombastic. And there's times when he is very quiet. There's times when he's a little bit confused. And then there's, times when, come on, and, to really enjoy all those different kind of vocal frequencies and notes and sounds. Yeah.
That's what I love about animation. It's so liberating and it lets you kind of do so much more than you're able to do in live action.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I was actually thinking, you've obviously made the jump from animation to live action with How to Train Your Dragon, but I'm curious, now that you've played Santa Claus, do you see yourself ever playing Santa Claus down the line? Because there are so many like action movies that make Santa Claus like a badass action hero these days.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, that's true. But I feel like it's kind of been done. It's been done a couple of times now. So I don't know if having played Santa in the animated movie, however, maybe there's going to be more of these Santa in the animated movies. Like, where could he go next? It's endless if you want to kind of push him into somebody else's fairy tale too and go, well, how would he be in this one? How would he be in this one? So that's definitely an opportunity if you do your job and get people to come and see this movie.
I will.
if this is received like I hope it would be received, I think a lot of people are left going, that was awesome. Seeing Prancer and Dancer and Vixen and little, Boots the elf down hanging out with the Cheshire Cat and the Queen of Hearts and the card guards and the Mad Hatter, that they go, well, where could that go to next?
And I'd love to see them come back and see how Wonderland has changed now that she's really embraced the Christmas spirit all over again. There's so much.
Oh, that's cool too. I never thought of that. Yeah, they could swing by there on the way to whoever the hell it is they're gonna meet. Godzilla. That'd be a fun one.
Oh, well, there you go.
I just
Godzilla's big these days. I'd love to see him bring joy to Godzilla.
I know. Can you imagine Godzilla smiling and bringing Christmas presents to children? That would be the day. I was, by the way, it was crazy. While I was rehearsing the songs for this in New York, I was every day in with the producers and writers for Greenland working on that script whilst getting wig fittings and beard fittings and helmet fittings for How to Train Your Dragon, the live action that I was doing, whilst filming the Julian Schnabel movie in New York, where I was playing this insane killer that kills for the mafia that's also kind of weird and perverted and unpredictable and strangely kind of lovable, and also playing the Pope from the 15th century in that movie. What else was happening? I mean, it was insane. I was wearing like 65 hats. I'm in writing sessions, costume fittings, makeup fittings for one other movie, whilst practicing my singing for this with Sonia Jones, the most amazing singing coach, and then finishing filming in New York. It was like I didn't even know who I was anymore. Yeah.
I don't know how you would have kept track of all of that. I did have one How to Train Your Dragon question, which I think might be a funny one. Was it freezing cold? Because I saw you all filmed in Northern Ireland in like January to May, and I know it's so cold. Was it cold on location?
Yes, it was very cold and kind of miserable because we went at the worst time. It was like, December or really starting January. I had a hotel room that had glass right down by my bath, and for some reason I had decided I was going to take ice baths every morning. So at 5 a.m, my physicist, I'm not going to put the ice in the bath. He would come in and fill my bath with ice, and I would get in this ice bath, but outside it would be dark with a wind blowing, soaking wet. You knew how free. So it's at least if you're doing an ice bath and you're in LA and it's a blue sky, this was like, I am going out into that. But I had 7 layers. Thick layers and a thick beard, and then I had a kind of bear skin or a wolf skin over. No, I think it was a bear skin, or I don't know what it was. Anyway, it was heavy as shit. When I had my sword and my shield and the helmet, which was heavy, and all those layers with like clasps that went round. It was 90 pounds, my costume. And I was in the middle of the coldest day, soaking wet from sweat inside, because it was like a furnace in there. So I guess I had the benefit of, I was rarely cold while everybody else was like this. I was like,
you lucked out.
my beard's coming off because of the sweat. You got to stick it back down. You got to stick, my what do you call these? Eyebrows?
The eyebrows?
Yeah, they're coming off. They're like, stick it down, because I was sweating so much.
Oh my gosh, that is incredible. Well, thank you so much, Gerard. This was wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was fun.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, you too.